Okay. Chocolate versus the world here. What was that? So, American foods are barely food if you break down its chemical composition, right? Chocolate, Hershey's chocolate, dark chocolate, I believe it is more specifically. Trader Joe's is also in on this. So there is a lawsuit against chocolate manufacturers for having heavy metals in them, which have been linked to cancer. And so they're being sued. So the reading I want to do is, how's that going to play out? But American foods have been banned in many countries, in Europe, Japan as well, like Fruit Loops, for instance, because they're full of dyes and chemicals, and Mountain Dew because it has a flame retardant chemical in it, or a chemical that is found in flame retardants. Skittles made the headlines because Skittles have titanium dioxide, which is what makes the Skittle shiny. When you look at a Skittle, it looks all shiny. They have titanium dioxide, which is one of those cancer-causing chemicals, they say. And so, how's this going to play out? There's a lawsuit against the chocolate because of heavy metals, which have been linked to cancer. Will it be some huge payout, but no change? Will they change the recipes and the formula? Because, mind you, the stuff that you put in is not necessary. Now, they did a, who was that? John Oliver did a video once about, here's the stars, improvement for the future. He did a video once about food and waste. And one of the things that was highlighted in there is that farmers let a lot of produce go to waste because it has an irregular shape. Literally the only reason. If you have a carrot that's bendy because that's the way it grew, if you have an apple that has a weird, it's not round, it has a weird shape to it, people won't buy it. Therefore, they don't even send it, they don't even sell it, they just let it fall to the ground and rot to be fertilizer for something else, I suppose. And so there is this food fight, if you will, because even when we get the apples, they're washed in something and then they have a coating to make them shiny as well, not to mention the pesticides. And so what do? The Ten of Wands. Oh, well, changes things. The Ten of Wands is a burden. The Star is improvement, hope for the future, but there is a burden around here too as we talk about food. We're eating people, is that what we're doing? There is a burden here. The thing with the Ten of Wands, though, is you can still complete your task. It's just telling you the way that you're going about it is incorrect. You can't do it this way. You have to do it another way. And we have the Eight of Swords with the Seven of Swords. Justice and the Six of Wands. How will this play out? Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Strength card, and the King of Wands. There's changes, but here's, I think, what this is just from my own view of these cards. The changes are at the top. So you may switch out some CEOs or some personnel of that nature, but there's no change in the business model itself other than maybe deleting an item or two or reducing its amount to where you don't have to claim it. Like a thing that says it's fat-free is not fat-free. It's reduced fat, is heavily reduced is what it should be called, but it's not fat-free. If it has 0.009% fat, you can call it fat-free. Just like something that's caffeine-free is not caffeine-free. No. decaffeinated is the word. It's not caffeine free though, it's just decaffeinated. You reduced the amount of caffeine to where it's almost untraceable. And so it's kind of one of those things, because you have the 10 of Wands and the Star, so improvement is still burdened by something. 7 of Swords, 8 of Swords, the scheme. How do we keep it the way it is while changing it at the same time? And so you keep it the way it is while changing it at the same time by changing the amount of that in which you do. And so if I can do it less, then you don't notice. Or if I don't put as much trans fat and everybody else's fat in there, then I can call it fat-free. The 6 of Wands, the Justice, and the Ace of Pentacles, the people at the top pay most. And so I think that's where the change of personnel comes in, because the Knight of Pentacles is about the people you hire. The Knight of Pentacles is also probably the formula, something that is dependable that you use over and over and over again. So the formula will change with the Knight of Pentacles, but I don't see this as a win. This is just me personally, not the read. Because there are things in the food that are not necessary. Again, they're barely food items. Fruit Loops, they don't need to be that bright. It's okay. Now, the sugar content and the salt content is a whole nother topic of conversation. Americans are addicted to salt and sugar. That's a whole nother conversation. But the chemical part is not necessary. I get it preserved, though. If you can preserve it longer, then it's cheaper to make. But the Strength card is in the Word of Solace, so there is going to be some sort of change through legal here with the Strength and the Justice card. And the 8 of Swords is something that they're going to have to do, because they're kind of limited and trapped in doing that. But again, there's a scheme. So even if you see, oh, the heavy metals have been removed from chocolate, personally, I wouldn't believe it. Because it's more of a, if I do it in a trace amount that you can't, that I don't have to claim, then I can say it's free of heavy metals. And so there's still some sort of scheme that they're trying to do more of while saying they're not doing it at the same time. So again, we shall see.